He's got my. Get your hand on my back, Dad. What am I supposed to say? Look, I don't care where we're at. We just go.
Right. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Las Banos Today Morning Show. The morning show is brought to you by Round Table Pizza.
Pizza royalty.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning show. And we have a special guest with us here today from the Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene. And Bruce is going to bring us the weather before we start with our special guest.
If you haven't been outside yet, you'll see that it's a little nippy.
It is a bit chilly out there.
The sun's out. That always blows my mind because I got another man here. How can it be that bright and that cool at the same time? But I guess that's a question I'll have to ask at another time. But today's Wednesday, April 10th. The month's rolling along, and today is going to be sunny with some wind. Well, northwest, 20 miles per hour, 0 chance of precipitation. That's a good thing, a little drying out here.
Yeah.
Mostly clear tonight, 49. Tomorrow, the temperature actually goes down 2-3 degrees, 59. Still windy and partly cloudy. Friday, the sun will come out on Friday. 62 degrees, mostly sunny, but still clear. And Saturday, the same thing. We got some events on Friday, some events on Saturday. I'm glad the sun's coming out.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to do them.
There's a lot going on.
All the way to Saturday, 60. So it was staying in the little 60 range, a little partly cloudy. I don't see no precipitation in the area for the next 15-day forecast. So, hey, go out and enjoy it, do some planting, do some digging, do some rooting, and just make sure you do some exercising. I rode this morning.
Now we are doing something a little different today. We are live streaming on YouTube. Normally we are on Facebook, but we wanted to bring it over to YouTube and just test the waters a little bit more with YouTube before we figure out which way we're going to go with our simulcast. And if you didn't know, there's a lot of road construction going on out there right now. Pacheco Boulevard, we've got a lot of guys out there painting with Caltrans, I guess they're painting the lines on the roads and all that, the arrows.
Keeping us in our lanes.
Keeping them straight.
Keeping us straight. Mm-hmm. That's right. And was coming down Henry Miller this morning, and there's road construction going on over there too. So if you're going down Henry Miller, you might want to bypass, take Pacheco and take Delta Road, and you can go right around that construction going on over there as well. And we have a special guest, like I said, Mr. Granillo. And
he did. He said
Raul Granillo. He's been on the show before, so he's no stranger to the morning show.
He's been practicing.
He done butchered
it.
So good morning and welcome back, Raul. Thank you so much for joining us here and for your patience this morning while we got all of our mics working.
Yeah,
right.
Had a few challenges, but Raul helped us out and got us back on track.
Sometimes that little small voice says, check the battery.
And it always is. It's
a
little thing.
Battery, yeah.
And then you just, really? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, now Raul, I was looking at this event that you guys published on the calendar, and the Monday Tenebrae. Now, what does that mean, Monday Tenebrae?
Okay, well Monday Thursday is a calendar day in the church year on Holy Week, where typically you would come together. It's during the Last Supper. So if it was a Monday Thursday, you would have a meal, a communion, usually a foot washing, something like that. The Tenebrae service is a little bit different. Tenebrae, it comes from a Latin word that means shadows.
Oh, okay.
And in the main aspect of it is the darkness that came when Christ was betrayed, the fleeing of the disciples. And after Jesus was arrested, they realized they were in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. And so they fled in fear, not realizing what was going to happen, because nobody expected this to take place. This isn't how it was supposed to go down.
Right.
And so it really is, it's a time of reflecting upon the darkness, upon the betrayal, upon all of these things that are just broken and wrong, and it prepares us for this mood of Easter into Good Friday when Christ is crucified, and then Easter when we celebrate the resurrection.
Yeah. Interesting. I was wondering about that. I was sitting here thinking about it for like a week. I'm like, what does that mean?
These are the tenets and things, you know, that a lot of times we don't discuss, sometimes outside the church, which we need to, in sharing the gospel. People don't know. Now, you're the new pastor.
Yeah. Well, a year.
Yeah. The new pastor here.
I still got the new pastor smell.
yeah. He's a new pastor at the Nazarene Church.
Yeah, that's right. Mercy Springs.
Mercy Springs. Right next to Family Dollar.
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
Man.
All that. Yeah, good shopping over there.
Yeah.
And another sister church across the street, New Canaan. So I want to personally welcome, since I first time I met you, one of the other pastors in the community, to meet you and welcome you. And I don't know who you've met yet, who you've hooked up with, all the fellas. There's about 54 of us around here. There's a bunch of churches here, and I pastor, of course, in Dos Palace. But, you know, so... here, you know, we talk about the Seder, the Tenenbaum. All these things are festival type meals, type holy days and situations. Go a little deeper for us on this, what you're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me kind of share it from this perspective. First off, the Tenebrae service isn't something new. This is a service that it dates back to the early centuries, as do most of the stuff that we do, even Easter. All these things date back to the very early church. For us at Mercy Springs, one of the reasons I wanted to do this, I love this service. I love how it always goes through and the mood that it sets. But it was really important for what we're doing here. And I've been here for just over a year now. In fact, March 19th was the year that we had moved here. After I got here, and I was here for about 6 months, trying to figure out the community. Because I came from New Mexico. I've never been to California. And my few visits to California were San Diego.
Oh, wow.
That's like...
That's not
That's where you go to ease
real
people.
California.
So this is real California.
That's
here. This is the meat and potatoes of California. It really
Big
is.
Valley in Cali. That's
Yeah. So I came from New Mexico, so it's a bit of a culture shock. So I wanted to kind of just sit back and see what's happening and get to know the community some. After I'd been here for about 6 months, I wrote a letter. In fact, I came on here. We talked about it to the community, just kind of sharing a bit about my own story. You know, my battle with drugs, my battle with depression, just all of these things that had happened, and kind of how, you know, just to introduce myself and to say hi to the community and to let them know who I was. And I've been sitting, now it's been a year, and as I look into Los Banos, what's really occurred to me is that this community, it's growing quickly. It really is. It's one of the reasons we decided to come here. But man, this town, for a community of, it's 40,000 now, right?
40,000.
Now it's 40,004, just as we said that. More people moved in. But it really does. One of the great things about this community, and I hope people realize it, is it still has this small town, hometown feel.
Yeah.
It really does. Me and my brother-in-law were talking about this. He says it's crazy. He's from Farmington, New Mexico, and that's where I spent most of my life. Farmington is 42,000 people. And so it's almost the exact same size as Los Banos. The difference is in Farmington, you can go somewhere and don't know anyone.
Right.
It has... You know, and I know in California, I'm going to sound crazy saying this, it has a big town feel. And I know in California, Los Banos is still a small community, but it has this sense of community that's still there. It's still embedded there, and it wants to be there, begs to come out where people know each other. And so I really feel like we as a community need to protect it. And I hear even the community kind of responding and talking in this manner of this fear. We're going to lose who we are. We're going to lose our identity because of all these new people coming, and all these plants that are coming from over there, you know, from the bay, over the hill, coming to be here. And it's this fear of, we don't want to lose who we are. We don't want to lose this small town, and I hope we don't, because it's a wonderful thing to have. It's a wonderful thing to protect. And so my I guess I just say that to say that this is kind of the ministry that we do at the church. And this is what church is supposed to be. The church is the place where you go to build community, to know each other, to protect that. That's what it's about. It's not showing up so that I can say that I did enough time so I can go to heaven in the end. It's a ridiculous notion of what it's about. It is about coming together as people, knowing each other intimately, and then sharing that into this world. It's about protecting it. When you go to church, the reason you go is so that you can get to know the people that are there. And when you practice the liturgy, the different things. When you go to different churches, you'll practice different liturgy. You'll practice it some You know, just the singing and the praising, which is I love doing that. You know, and some you'll do. I was raised Catholic, so my favorite thing still is the passing of the peace. I love that we extend our hands, something that I can choose to use in violence, but instead I offer them to you in peace. And these little things that we do, we take for granted and don't realize that they work a lot like physical therapy. Y'all ever been to physical therapy?
Yeah.
I just started it this year. Oh my goodness, it's the most horrific thing in this world. and the reason I say that is you do it and you think, okay, this is a waste of my time. This is what hurts, and you're having me do this and that, and it doesn't make sense to me. But what had happened as I went ahead and did what they told me to do, what happened was I started realizing is it started changing my posture. It started changing the way I stood, the way I acted, and I actually started healing and becoming stronger in those areas,
Wow.
not realizing that these little exercises actually affected the overall me, my entire physicality. When you go to church and you practice these things of just showing up and sharing with friends, of praising, of confessing, of praying, of passing the peace, whatever it is that you do, it's almost like physical therapy that you don't realize. And what it does is it puts you in a new posture.
Wow.
And your posture becomes more like Christ, so that then you come out into the community and automatically you're different. And because it's a posture that's meant to build community, by going to church, by doing these things, you go out into the community and find yourself, by second nature, becoming a part of community and sharing with others and protecting that. And in the church also, it has this great dynamic that's very different from what we normally see. It kind of occurred to me, it's like the family. When we're conceived, every one of us, the closest we ever are with our mom is when we're in utero, right? I mean, my wife has had 4 kids, and she always talks about how she just loves feeling that and protecting them. I mean, my baby's inside of me. It's literally, my life is connected to this life, and whatever we do is together. But then you're born, and that's a wonderful thing. And as you grow as parents, you watch your kids grow, and what happens over time, they start to develop new friends, outside relationships. And so they grow up, and then they move away, and they have their own families and do their things. And the reality is this: most family dynamics start intimately close and move apart.
Right.
And that's what we see in the community. And it's sad, and it's heartbreaking. And it's not necessarily wrong, but it is heartbreaking.
Right.
The church is the remedy to that. People come together who don't know each other. We are absolutely worlds apart. We're black, we're white, we're Hispanic, we speak English, we're German, whatever it is that we are, but we come to this place from totally different worlds, and by gathering together and worshiping, we start to grow together. It reverses that trend where we become a community together. This is why the Tenebrae is important.
Yeah. Okay.
What the Tenebrae does is we come into that service, and we don't just come to church, you know, the twice-a-year church people, right? The Easter and Christmas. And hey, I was that guy. I did that for most of my life. I would do Easter and Christmas, and only because my mom hounded me to do it. But we do Easter, we love it because it's happy and it's celebratory, and it's supposed to be. But Easter by itself, when we just sell that it's happy and it's celebratory, then what we're telling people is it's wonderful for people who have it together. And that's all it's about. And if you don't have it together, there's something wrong with you. Tenebrae comes together in this darkness, in this moment, and where we sit down and we say, you know what, sometimes life sucks. That's just the reality of it. Sometimes we're tired, and when you sit there in the pews or in the chairs or wherever you're at, you sit next to a guy who may be smiling but may be scared to death because I don't know if I'm going to have my job tomorrow or if I'm going to keep my family. Or next to a woman who's desperately afraid because, I don't know, she's abused or she's suffering from depression, or a child who sits there and just zones out with the buds in, but they're just so afraid of this world and this betrayal, and you feel like you're the only one doing it. When you come into the Tenebrae service in the darkness, Christ comes in the darkness and he says, this is where we gather, in the brokenness. You don't have to be perfect to come here. Right. Christ says, I know suffering, I know the pain, I know all of these things. I know what it is to be the person who's betrayed. I know what it is to be abused. I know what it is to feel shame. I know what it is to suffer, and I know what it is to know that death is impending and there's nothing that I can do about it. He comes in that room with us, perfectly with us, and says, we're going to go through this darkness together.
Wow.
And when we do that and that community grows, then we can appreciate their Easter and realize that the resurrection, it isn't just for those whose lives are together. Right. The resurrection is for those who think that death is the only thing we ever had. I don't have another way of life. Sick and tired is all I've ever known, and it's all I'm ever going to know. And Christ says, no, not you, because I've known that as well, and I'm there with you. And this is why that service is important. It brings it all together so perfectly. It brings the community together. And this is This is what it's about. This is our call at Mercy Springs. This is what we do. You know, brother, you were telling me we all have our distinctions, and we do. And we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. And I love that God has so many amazing churches here that he is doing wonderful things through. But our distinctive, what he's called us to, and I know he's called many of these churches to, is to be the community's church. Not a community church, the community's church.
Right.
The church that says we're here and we're going to grow together so we can better know you. We want to love Christ better, love people, each other better, so we go in this community and love the community better. So I can love my neighbor better, so I can protect this small town feeling and not be here saying, okay, how do we keep people from coming in? We don't build walls. We don't turn away the foreigner, but instead we don't pray to God either to say keep them away, but instead we say make me better. Give me a posture so when they come in, I can welcome them with open arms. And if this community turns into 200,000, a million, it will always have that small town feel because we have turned towards Christ and towards each other and protected. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
That is powerful.
Sorry,
and no, that's powerful. And I could just feel that inside of me. And that is something, and you said it, when I was young, I was going from church to church, and you don't really have that sense of belonging. Yeah. You feel empty inside. You're sitting in those pews and you're looking around. Your parents dropped you off and you're just there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this guy's up there and he's preaching at you and you're feeling guilt, remorse, and what? You ate too much breakfast cereal this morning? I poured too much milk. I know I'm going to get it when I get home. And you grow up with this, and you hit the nail on the head for me. I mean, that's just kind of the sense you get. And that description you gave was so powerful because I think that's what all of us inside are looking for, that belonging. And ever since I've been here, we've had that where people will say to you, well, oh, you're from the Bay Area. Yeah. You're from San Jose. You're one of those. You're a transplant. Mm-hmm. And like as though we are the enemy or we are the problem. And, it's just that belonging, it's part of the community. It's like you said, it binds us together. And that's what we need in this world today.
That's it.
I don't know.
Well, and like me, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Seaside, California, 40-some thousand people, more compacted.
Right.
Versus here where it's spread out.
Yeah.
And so we got the kind of big city aspect being on the Monterey Peninsula. And that's the way I grew up in church. You could come and you could feel the community. We were churches, we all did things together. And then as the years came, we grew apart. Like I say, we separated. The church, the Bible tells us the church has many members, but one body. Still one church. And that a lot of time men with their own ideologies get in the way and we lose.
Right.
Because it's like my hand. There's many members on my hand. Each finger does the same thing, but it's all one hand.
Right.
Which is all part of the arm, which is all part of the body.
Right.
So my feet got to get my hand over there if I'm going to pick it up. And so we've lost that. Yeah. We've lost that. And the Garden of Gethsemane experienced it. Well, like I said, we're all that piled on him. He experienced it. He can tell us about it. Yes, here, but that one word that always comes out is nevertheless. Nevertheless, I'm going to move forward. Nevertheless, God is with me. Nevertheless, we're going to be able to move together. And we're trying that. Let me keep saying that here in the church community to be together. We're all about 7 of us are doing. And you're invited, just like the same thing, to the Good Friday services. We've been doing it. Tradition used to do it, and then we got away from it, and then the other churches don't come, and we do. So we want to do that, and we want to participate in this with you. And I'm going to share this with the brothers. I know we're meeting to just put a flyer up on the page. David Shedd showed me how to. I've been telling people how to use that thing. I hope I did it right.
I'd have him walk.
I put it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, Raul's really good. He puts them up there. He knows he's pretty tech savvy.
Yeah. See that? I saw all of that and I read all that. I said, okay, that's good. I understand. So now I'm trying to follow your lead, and we just put a flyer, just put a poster up. So these things you're talking about. Man, I'm welcome you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Because somebody got to fill the void or bring things back to our remembrance, I guess you'd say. The Holy Spirit allows us to do that. And if you push it and you grab a hold of me and I grab a hold of more and we keep grabbing a hold, we'll make this thing beautiful.
That's it, man. It's about coming together.
Yeah, that's it.
It is. And that, again, that is going to be Thursday, April 18th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's the Monday, Thursday Tenebrae service going on over at the Mercy Springs Church of the Nazarene. And that is open to the public.
Absolutely.
Just go ahead and stop on by and meet Raul. And he welcomes you with open arms. And it's going to be another great service. And what are you guys doing over there?
The very next day.
The very next day.
Good Friday. We're having 2 services for Good Friday. I pastor in Dos Palos, so at 12 noon, 7 of the pastors get together to recitate or expound on the 7 last things from the cross, which we've done for years. And then at 12 noon in Dos Palos, 7 p.m. that same night, we'll be at First Baptist Church, right around the corner from you.
Excellent.
On 8th and D Street. We'll be doing it again with 7 other pastors.
Here in Los Banos.
Here in Los Banos.
Okay, so that's
Banos.
2.
Yeah, 2.
Going on, noon and 7 p.m.
Noon and 7 p.m. And then, of course, Easter sunrise service. We've been doing every year, been participating. Pastor John, Pastor Dean, from the St. John's Church over there. We go out to the forebay.
Right.
And have a Easter sunrise service, which is always beautiful. Sun coming up over that water. So, and he hasn't told who's going to preach it this year. So we read a lot of, do the liturgy, do all the things we do, and talk about the resurrection of our Savior and that beautiful sunrise. So this is Easter week's on the way. Come on. Easter week. Some people get bent out of shape because it's called Easter.
Well, you get that a lot right now on online, social media. That's the buzz. Easter isn't what it used to be, or people have lost the tradition.
No, to be fair, we may have lost the tradition in just about anything.
Right.
We do. I mean, but it's not something that we complain about for the sake of just complaining. We need to be proactive in all these things. It's okay, I see the problem. We get that. We recognize the problem.
Right.
Now let's come up with the solution and let's bring this together. And if we don't like the way it is, then let's be the change. Let's be the people that come together and realize this is for the better. We have the ability to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, in a lot of things, and we've been saying that here on Los Banos today. Let's be a part of the change. Let's be proactive. Let's get out there. I mean, I've been up since midnight, tirelessly working, and it was like a breath of fresh air having you guys here this morning. I woke up and I met road construction. It's like detour, practicing patience.
Let me tell you something, though. California road construction's nice. Y'all want bad, go to New Mexico.
Oh,
the orange cone is our state flower. I'm just saying. So
I've driven through
California roads are amazing.
On the highways
You got it good here.
We've done well.
Appreciate them.
I come here morning after morning, time after time, and he's always there. So when I drive up at 7:02 and the white truck's not there, I'm like, okay, don't say nothing.
Something's going on.
Something's happening. So, I mean, look, listen, this is why we work together.
Yeah.
Because the day that he can't come in, heaven forbid he gets sick or cold or whatever, flu, that little stuff like that. And I was like, then what are we going to do? What's the contingency plan for the show? And I know he's working on putting that together. I know that. I know his mind.
Yeah.
But I sat out here and I said, okay, it's 7 p.m. Let me call. Because he's not here. Is he okay?
Well, and that's the thing, there's so many parts to this.
Yeah.
There's so many, and it's just one person.
Really cool.
Just like what this tenant thing is apart. Good Friday's apart. Resurrection Sunday's apart. The gospel message is apart. It's not complicated.
No.
Once we learn to work together.
Right.
I'm telling you, that's it.
It flows.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for this. I'm gonna do my best to be there. I gotta
clear
my calendar for whatever. What was I supposed to do Thursday? I got a bunch of grandkids. They got birthdays all this month. And somebody's birthday. But anyway, I'm going to be there.
Responsibility is a big thing, and
yes, sir.
And showing up is, some say, half the battle.
The whole battle. people.
So, you know, you just got to be able to show up and make it happen. And, you know, we've got a lot going on this week. There's a lot of activities. Like Bruce said, there's a lot happening. Again, there's some road construction going on out there. We just put up our 2019 Street Fair video this morning. That's on YouTube. We'll be putting a link over on Facebook a little bit later here at the end of this show. And if Bruce wants, we can do another live stream on Facebook here in a bit or not. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I know the people are going to be, where they at? but like
huge following on there.
That's where our following we built. Got 1,000 people online on Saturday, man, watching. So, but we're in an effort to do better. In an effort to be better.
Right.
Well, you got to try new things.
Yeah.
Listen,
some things are limiting.
Some failures, but that's all right.
Yeah. That's it. You got to keep on trying.
Some things are limiting to where we'd really like to go.
Yeah.
You know, we got some show ideas and things, and if we're locked in one mode, these people say, can't take ours and put it over there. And we're like, okay, fine. We'll
got to spread your wings, man.
Yeah. So
that's where we're at with Los Banos today.
You know, I'm excited about Thursday night.
Yeah.
Just to be able to participate there.
Me too.
I've done Seder's. Have you done Seder before? Have you done Seder's? I know you probably have. John does. Dean. I call him John. St. John's Church. Dean does a Seder, and first time I'd ever ate lamb that I liked. I never liked lamb. This guy's the guy that John had do the lamb at the Seder. I said, oh my God, this is lamb? Because I don't mess with it. It just doesn't.
Lamb is
You got to get there, man.
Some people have some people have the palate.
Get there, man. I'm just not there. I can eat elk. I can eat all these other things, but me and lamb, I'm not, you know. But that night, can I take some of that home with me? It was he got a great guy that just awesomely learned how to barbecue it. So they have the Seder. I don't know if their dean's doing the Seder this year or not. But all these things are part of the cultural history and the actual history, biblical history. That's where we are. You know, I know some people think it's just a fad.
There you go.
What are you doing? You got a new logo. What is that?
2019 Street Fair.
Okay. Look at him. He's showing off again.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll tell you, every time I come here, he's got some new toy that he's playing with.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about progression. You know, for me, if we're not going to get anywhere, like you said, and I mean, I just am so attached to that.
Driven.
You have to give, and give some more. Yeah. And I find the more that I give, the more I'm getting back in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this growth is propelling Los Banos today, and it's allowing us to move, like Bruce said, in directions we never thought of before. And it's opening up doors. And of course, God is at the helm of all of that and opening those doors up and allowing us to be able to look down these roads and say, okay, I think we can do that. You know, whereas before I would have been, no, I don't think so. But now I'm looking at it going, you know, that's not too scary anymore.
Yeah, y'all come a long way.
You know.
And we can talk like this because we're sitting here, and I'm glad to have a compatriarch, another one, because the three of us here. The vision, that's what it was. It was the vision God put in his heart, and to allow people, because we sat, and how many times have we sat behind over this counter and said, come in and say, I didn't know this was going on. So you build a better mousetrap, the world will be the path to your door. So what he's done now is just an incredible thing. I know it's helped my popularity, and I wasn't even looking for it. I'd be 60.
So we go places and we get kids talking to Bruce. Hey, I know you. And
you stick out that.
My best friend, one of my best friends, told me that. He said, man, told me last night, Lonnie. He said, Bruce. He said, man, when I first saw you with that thing, he said, man, what's up with this cowboy hat? He said, man, but he told me last night. He said, man, I get it.
Yeah.
He said, I get it. It's the big valley. You're in Cali.
Yeah.
You got the cowboy. You're out there where, the show. You remember that show, The Big Valley with the barbecue?
Yeah.
I grew up with that. And I've been telling people that before.
That's right.
And I say, man, I live in the Big Valley.
That's right.
And so this plays well to the people, to the farming community, to the children. And I got people in D.C. They understand a little bit more about what's here. It's like the church. It's like the Word. You know, I mean, we cowboys in the Word. We got to ride them and rope them.
Ride them and rope them.
You know,
something like that. Anyway.
The Bible says, you know, he said we got to snatch people from the fire. You know, that's some of that language that freaks people out when you say it. But it's in love and what we do. And this whole program you're doing tonight is all about the love.
And that's it. You know, I love the quote from Brene Brown. It's hard to hate up close.
Yeah.
And so if we'll just, and that's our focus. If you can just get people to know people, just go talk to somebody. Instead of complaining about it, get to know them.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you get to know somebody, this unfortunate side effect of empathizing with them happens. You start to realize who they are. You know, Jesus says, you know, do unto others, you have them do unto you.
Right.
The problem with that is you can't do to others what you would want them to do to you until you've taken the time to walk a mile in their shoes.
Yeah.
You cannot physically, you cannot in any capacity fulfill what you're commanded to do until you first get to know a person, know their story, know the narrative, know who they are.
Right.
And when you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to realize, oh, this guy really didn't just cut me off because he was being a jerk. Yeah. Or this person isn't doing this for this reason. You start to realize that the brokenness we feel, the problems we feel, everybody feels. And then we come together.
Our experiences help us.
Yeah.
And like you said, I've been on the same trail you was on. And I heard it when you said it. You know, the life of over there, and then you got back over here.
Yeah.
I was on that same trail, so, you know, through Albuquerque.
That'll give you an idea of what we consider a small town. Albuquerque is by far the biggest city in New Mexico, and it's smaller than Fresno.
Wow.
But keep that in mind.
And it's spread out.
So
wow.
This is a huge community.
I broke down in Albuquerque. We lost a wheel bearing on a Sunday morning.
You had to hike to find a business?
It was amazing. We stopped at a service station, and the gentleman service station tried to get the bearing off it. It froze on.
Wow.
He was hammering and beating and everything. Me, my mom, and dad, and our little cab over camper on our way to Florida. This is way back in the 70s, so it was way different. And we were riding down the street looking for a wrecking yard. A lot of wrecking yards.
Yeah.
But none of them were open. And we were back at the service station, you know, trying to figure out what we're going to do till Monday, you know.
Yep.
But God kept sending people. God kept sending people by. And I'll never forget that guy.
It's a wonderful state. It's a wonderful community. It really is.
You know, and I'm sitting here watching this video at the street fair and all these, you know, these interviews and these people, and it's like Raul said, you know, it is a great community. It's a tight knit, compact community. Even though 60% of our community is commuter based, it's hard to get. You know, if you come into this town and you see people interacting, you see the camaraderie. And people just talking and getting together and how many people know each other. I mean, I would walk down this street and I would say a good 30-40% of those people, I knew them. You know, it's like, hey, Dave, hey. It's like, wow, you know. And
you still got a little small.
And it's growing, but it still has that feel that you were talking about.
We need to protect it. We need to, but if we're not intentional, listen, if we are not intentional about protecting that community feeling, we will lose it. And if we try to protect it out of fear and you know, by just rejecting what's happening, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it faster than ever. What we need to do is posture ourselves. My mama taught me the best theology I've learned. You can only control you.
Every tub got to sit on his own bottom, brother. That's it.
And now Bruce always says that to me. He says, you know, I can't control what you do to me, but I can control how I respond to what you do.
And the problem we have with that, though, is that if I make myself vulnerable and I make myself a community person and you don't, I'm the one that's going to be taken advantage of. And so we're afraid. It's genuinely that. We call it experience. We call it once bit, twice shy. But the reality is I'm afraid of getting hurt again.
Yeah.
And we have got to stop being that way. We've got to say, you know what, I'm going to step up. And if I get hurt 100 times, 1,000 times, I don't care because this is too important. I genuinely care. And that's where courage comes in. That's where community comes in. And that's what we're called to do. That's what Christ meant when he said, take up your cross and follow me. If not, listen, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Listen, the Bible's not even complete on all the things that was done to him.
Right. But you need encouragers, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's where church comes in.
Yeah.
For me, when I think about it, I think about the camaraderie, the people, like you said, walking together in a similar, learning and growing together. I do that a lot with Bruce. We'll be in here and we'll just be talking, sometimes for hours, and learning. I learn, I grow spiritually, and I can do that in a church. I can do that with other brothers. I'm doing it right now. But that's the camaraderie. That's the spirit. That's the growth. And that's something that we can't lose, like you said.
And like you said, if it's gone, you got to redevelop it.
Yeah.
I grew up in that, when we didn't have all the cable and all that. I went to choir rehearsal 4 nights a week
Right.
in Seaside growing up. I sang for the Northern California State Youth Choir, a Seaside choir, and then a Pentecostal church choir.
Yeah.
All of us in the same town growing up. And so 4 nights a week, I was at choir rehearsal. And
Right.
so that's what I loved and I lived. And then, once again, college came along. I moved to L.A. I got away from it. I found a church that was kind of like home and wound up on the road with Natalie Cole. And then I got further out and fell down. And
You're right.
drugs took over my life. And then you come back to the base.
Right.
God was still there.
That's
God
right.
never left. Because I know I'm still alive because
Right.
of him
Right.
watching over me.
Right.
But I wasn't paying attention. And then I come back, and here I am now pastoring. People look at me and say, man, Bruce can't be no pastor. You go to Seaside, they got to tell you stories that say, oh, ain't nowhere in the world.
Yeah, right.
But God is.
Never welcome in your own community.
No, man, God is a mystery, and he's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed that, too. A lot of people end up moving out of their community to go do something great because a lot of us aren't welcome in our own
Scripture
community.
says, prophet without honor his own home. They
Yeah.
did the same thing to Jesus. That's Jesus. Familiarity breeds contempt. I guess what they say in the world. But people, because they think they know you.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at me right here in this town. They don't know who I am. And Dave giving me a forum to do it. A lot of people say, I'm too churchy. Me. I'm too churchy. And I tell them, hey, man, I'm not, that's your opinion.
That's right.
And I love the Lord. I love
But wait a minute.
going
You don't
on.
have the right to practice what
No religion.
you don't have that.
They
You
take
can. You
my-
can't talk about it
No,
publicly.
can't talk about it publicly because people want to say because I do, that means I go against what they want
That's
to do.
right.
I'm not even worried about what you want to do. To be honest, I love you. Do your thing. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with it.
That's it.
I'm not going to beat you over the head with it. Whatever you're doing. I've been the junkie on the street.
Yeah.
And you can look at me and say, man, you could do better. And I was like, yeah, I know I can, but right now I don't want to. And it was
So it
just
comes
that
down to-
simple.
Yeah.
For me, they never said, oh, man, you ain't nowhere in the world. You should be doing your mama like this. You should be doing your daddy like this. You should be doing, no, I'm doing me like this. Y'all, this is me. Mom and daddy going to be blessed when it ends.
Right.
Oh,
And they were. And I am. And so I can look at that individual and say, I have compassion on them. And Dave can tell you, he's been right here. I went
Whole
through some
time.
things and trying to, people looking at me, man, going, why is he over there and he allowing them to do? You cannot stop nobody from doing what they're doing. I don't sit on your doorstep 24/7.
How can you say this? How can you say that?
Oh, man, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you what.
That's too many amens.
Yeah. They say amen too much. When we first
Amen.
started, they said, "Man, they say too much." And people wrote that on the page. I'm like, so I had to say, okay, I realize this is not a church show. This happened to be a church segment today,
Right,
so I'm good.
right.
But a church show, so I had to kind of say, okay, I got to change my language.
But what a lot of people don't know is this show was inspired by God. I had been praying for over a year
Thank you.
that God would use me in some way that I could help other people. A lot of people don't know this story and the fact that Bruce and I, 3 to 5 years, have been communicating on a regular basis. They've never heard this story. Bruce would come in, we would sit down, and we would talk. And we would literally have Bible studies. And I would say, hey, Bruce, what do you think about this? And hey, and he'd start going, and it's what Raul was saying. This is what goes on in our community. It doesn't happen everywhere. It doesn't happen with everybody. But it does happen here in Los Banos, California. And we see the fruits as the evidence. And I was talking about this on the show the other day. A lot of people didn't understand what I was saying when I was saying it. But there is fruit from this show. People, many lives have been touched. Many lives have been changed. We were interviewing dog fathers the other day, and they are blossoming and growing their business, their family. Many other people have been touched by this show and what it does. It has that effect to help and to promote you and get you out there. But that in and of itself was all God inspired. How can you go out in a community, help other people, be of good use, not just take from the community, but give back in a positive way?
That's the principle.
Give
and it shall be given unto you.
And so that is where this was inspired from.
Some of my best days, even dealing with my family, my wife, because we're both out here, and there's no paycheck.
No.
People say, man, why are you over there? Why are you bothering me about what I'm doing?
Right.
But you're watching and enjoying it.
That's right.
You're asking me why
you
I'm
want
doing
us to
it.
talk about your thing.
I tell like this. My wife is probably listening now because she didn't used to really get up and listen. Now she's like, I see where you guys are going. You
And she just graduated.
Yeah.
So very knowledgeable.
Yeah, right on. And finally she's working. She's
That's
actually
right.
working on information. We're going to talk about the opioid stuff going on in our culture. There's a street right in Los Banos where 3 seniors died this year on one street.
Right.
From opioid overdose.
It's ridiculous.
Where's that story being told?
That's right.
And we need to
And the
say,
kids
what
are
can we
growing
do?
up with phones in their hands. When I grew up, I would eat my bowl of cereal, watch cartoons, and hit the door. You wouldn't see me again until somebody said it was time for dinner.
That's right. Well, I grew up in that time. You better be in by the street lights. That's where. And my mom could. Oh man, there you go, Dave. My mom. We lived on the street, and then little hilly, one street over, one block up on this corner.
Did she have that voice that carried?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom would say my name. My grandson did this to me the other day.
Your ears dropped down a little bit.
She would say, Bruce. And I could hear her and come out and look, and I could see her standing on the front step of my yard. And she's like, it's 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
And my grandson came in the house that day. He got home from the army, and he walked in the house. I was in the back of her. Bruce. I said, boy, don't you do that. I'll come out and hit you. But those are the things.
Yeah.
The simple things that we've gotten so far away from that we just walk down the street and enjoy. Man, you're a blessing today, my friend.
Thank you so much for coming in,
for
Raul.
having
Thank
me.
you so much.
I will see you
Pleasure.
Thursday, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Meet my wife, and I'm gonna tell.
I look forward to it.
I got Bible study tonight. I'm going to share it with the members. Hey, some people we get sedentary. We got come out for Bible study, come out for church, and we're doing the Easter egg hunt is in Dos Sales and all of that. And some people don't do the Easter.
And if Bruce wants, we'll hop back over onto Facebook and talk about it a little bit more, as well as all the other events.
I'm down. I like this. I like the new look, the new stuff you're doing.
Yeah. So, thank you guys, everybody, for joining us here on YouTube. Live stream.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious to see if our mics are all working. But if not, oh well.
It's all right.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here
so much.
on Los Banos Today Morning Show, and we hope to be broadcasting more on YouTube.